You know, when we think of Homer's Odyssey, we usually think of the ultimate adventure story, right? Monsters, gods, a hero on this long, epic journey. But what if the hardest part of that whole journey wasn't fighting a Cyclops, but just proving you're still you when you finally get home? Okay, let's really get into this because the end of the Odyssey is an absolute masterclass in the performance of identity. I mean, think about it. This is the question at the very heart of everything for Odysseus. It's so much more than just showing up. You're talking about a 2-decade gap filled with memory, change, and unbelievable trauma. How on earth do you convince the people you love that the stranger standing in front of them is the same person they lost all those years ago? All right, so let's set the scene here. When Odysseus finally washes up on the shores of his home, Ithaca, he doesn't get some big parade. There's no hero's welcome. For all intents and purposes, he's a ghost, a man everyone assumed was dead, walking back into a world that has completely moved on. And let's just let this timeline sink in for a second. 10 years. 10 years fighting a brutal war. And then another 10 years just lost at sea. That is a full 20 years. The baby boy he left behind, he's a grown man now. His own home is basically unrecognizable. You can see right here just the sheer scale of the challenge he's facing. And just when you think it can't get any worse, oh, it does. His palace isn't empty. It's been overrun, not by 1 or 2 guys, by 108 suitors who have, for years, infested his home, disrespected his family, and are constantly pressuring his wife, Penelope, to just give up and marry one of them. So he can't just stroll in and say, "Honey, I'm home." He is wildly outnumbered, and frankly, nobody would even believe it was him. So, this is where we can start to look at the whole story through a really different and fascinating lens. Scholars suggest that coming home isn't just one single event. It's actually a performance. It's an act of improvisation. Think about it this way. Identity isn't something you just have. It's something you do. And this definition right here is absolutely key. Improvisation isn't just one person making things up on the spot. No, it's a social and collaborative practice. It requires a performer, that's Odysseus, and it requires an audience, that's Penelope. They have to work together, in the moment, to literally rebuild the reality they once shared. So we have to kind of shift our thinking. A simple return, the easy version, would be Odysseus just walking in, saying "I'm back," and everyone immediately recognizing him. But an improvised return, well, that's a high-stakes negotiation. He has to perform the role of Odysseus, and Penelope, in turn, has to test and then finally accept that very performance. And let me tell you, nobody understands this better than Penelope. She is the ultimate audience, but she's also his co-performer. So after Odysseus, who's still disguised as a beggar, has slaughtered all 108 of those suitors, he finally reveals himself. But Penelope, she's incredibly intelligent, and she's been worn down by 20 years of tricks and false hopes. She's not convinced. She needs one final, undeniable piece of proof. Put yourself in her shoes. He looks like a stranger. He's been gone for an entire generation. Why in the world should she believe this man is her husband? Her caution isn't coldness, it's a shield. It's the armor she's built over 2 decades just to survive. And so she improvises a test of her own. And Penelope's test is just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. She acts all casual and tells a servant to move their marriage bed out of the bedroom for this guest. But this is a trap. See, the bed is literally immovable. It was carved from the trunk of a living olive tree that grows right through the center of their room. It's a foundational secret that only she and the real Odysseus could ever possibly know. And when Odysseus hears her command, he explodes in this passionate rage, describing in perfect detail how he built the bed himself and why it's impossible to move. And that is the climax of the whole performance. It's so much more than a memory test. It's a mutual affirmation of their shared past, their shared creation. This quote from the scholar John Puridato just nails the brilliance of what Penelope does. He says that philosophers usually have 2 ways to confirm someone's identity. You check their body or you check their memories. Well, Penelope applies both criteria. The man is physically there, that's the body, but his reaction to the bed, that confirms their unique shared set of memories. He proves who he is by revealing the secret that their marriage was literally built on. There's actually a term for this kind of dynamic. It's called a performative agon, basically a struggle that's carried out through performance. So you see, it's not a one-way audition, it's a duet. He performs his identity, she performs her skepticism, and together, through this back and forth, they collaboratively rebuild the trust that was shattered over 2 long decades.
And this really brings us to the Odyssey's most profound, most modern lesson. It's not just about coming home. It's about how all of us construct our sense of self through our actions and through our relationships with others.
Modern philosophers and sociologists have explored this exact idea, that our identity isn't some fixed, solid core deep inside us. Instead, it's the result, the product of our performances. We become who we are through what we do and how we interact with the world, not the other way around.
So here's the bottom line. Odysseus doesn't just show up and reclaim his title like it was waiting for him. Not at all. He has to earn it all back. He performs being a husband for Penelope. He performs being a father for his son Telemachus. He performs being a king for his people. And through all of these improvised, high-stakes actions, he reconstructs his own identity. He becomes Odysseus again.
Which, of course, leaves us with a fascinating question, one that echoes all the way from ancient Greece right into our own lives. If our identity really is a continuous performance, a constant negotiation with the world around us, what role are you playing today, and who are you becoming in the process?